With the invention of the mouse and keyboard, the PC is home to many first-person shooters. What to Play presents the top 10 PC FPS of 2018 and 2019, all arranged by play scores. The play score is an average of gamer and critic ratings.
I believe with 10 kills, the loot should be mine.
That's a made-up number.
Opening our list is Apex Legends. The Battle Royale craze somehow went stale the moment Apex Legends dropped. This spin-off of Respawn's award-winning Titanfall series takes you to a futuristic battlefield with your team of 3 skilled heroes. Be the last team standing and put your skills and reflexes to the test in its fast-paced first-person hero shooting experience. Choose from its 11 unique legends and use the massive map as your playground. Each legend offers their own set of abilities, letting you turn the tide of every firefight. GameSpot mentioned in their review that Apex Legends is a mix of smart shooter ideas that makes for a competitive team-based game. It combines all the best parts of Titanfall while injecting it with Battle Royale's frenetic moment-to-moment action. Its major gripes, however, is that it's an EA title with a buttload of microtransactions. But as a free game, it is expected. But nevertheless, Apex Legends excels as a good first-person shooter in a battle royale with a play score of 7.89.
This is my domain.
Number 9 is Paladins. The age of hero shooters began when Blizzard's Overwatch came out way back in 2016. From then on, the market continues to push the trend even further, resulting to Hi-Rez making their own hero shooter FPS, Paladins. It finally came out of open beta after 2 years. Despite the oversaturated shooter genre, IGN gave it an 8.4, saying that even after 300 hours of exhilarating battles and strategic planning, Champions continues to find a way to offer new gameplay experiences. At first, it had a lot of controversy due to it being an Overwatch clone, but over the years, it gained its own identity, with more heroes and diverse multiplayer modes. On the surface, Paladins is a hero shooter, but within its layers lies an in-depth deck building system. It's where you customize your champion's abilities from skills that's well suited for your playstyle. And with these two elements packed together, it provides a fun yet complex gameplay mix. It receives a play score of an 8.03. Number 8 is Sorento VR. VR still has a long way to go, but this mission-driven action role-playing game from Mixed Realms is a step in the right direction. And in Sorento, assume control of a ruthless assassin trained by a covert organization. If Superhot had a sequel, this could pass off as one, albeit without the time-bending abilities. And as a virtual reality title with first-person shooter elements, showcase your gunplay and sword-fighting abilities with its arsenal of futuristic weaponry using your supported VR controllers. Every engagement feels like walking on thin ice. Go guns blazing, or use a variety of stealth mechanics to gain the upper hand and take enemies down one by one. Its impressive visual design and atmosphere coincides with its already satisfying combat, paving a new way for the future of VR. It has a play score of an 8.07.
Alright back there, time to wake up. It's a beautiful day, full of opportunity.
At number 7 is Borderlands Game of the Year Edition. The third installment may be out, but nothing can top the previous 2 installments that made the series what it was. Gearbox's crazy interplanetary looter shooter came with a few refinements to the experience, especially from its navigation to its inventory. This Game of the Year edition not only comes with gameplay upgrades, but these are all topped off with a big 4K finish that dusts off their nostalgic cel-shaded look and ushers us back into the rough Pandoran paradise.
What? Like that? Kill him now!
It was hailed as one of the greatest shooters of all time. Even Gaming Bolt's Ravi Sinha gave it an 8 out of 10, saying that it is more than a blast from the past. It's a compelling game in its own right. It receives a play score of an 8.08.
Let's rock and roll.
At number 6 is Project Warlock, a retro first-person shooter about one man and his guns. It's an ode to B-side shooters like Doom, Hexen, and Wolfenstein. Buckshot Interactive's Bullet Hell Mayhem takes you through 60 levels of non-stop action. Your mission? Eradicate evil in a never-ending maze packed with bloodthirsty enemies determined to kill you every second. It's the ultimate throwback for fans of these classic retro shooters. And according to Destructoid, who gave it an 8 out of 10, if your trigger finger is itching, buy Project Warlock to scratch that itch. You won't be disappointed. And it goes without saying that in this day and age, there's no shortage of video games backed by fans. It was initially a passion project in Kickstarter. This title made its way to GOG as a timed exclusive, and from then on, it became a major hit, with a play score of an 8.13.
Gonna paint the town red.
At number 5 is Blood Fresh Supply. Speaking of classic shooters, Blood was part of the legion of clones of the classic B-side shooters like Doom and Wolfenstein 3D. This revival of the 90s cult favorite remains dark, spooky, and edgy. And as a remastered version, it amps up the ante of the original as you battle through an army of sycophantic cultists, zombies, hellhounds, and other freaks of nature. Gameplay is similar to the aforementioned shooters, where you as a protagonist make your way through endless hallways, battling out enemies and unlocking weapons. TechRaptor gave it an 8 out of 10, praising the entirety of its rework, saying that Blood is a classic FPS game. Its level design, animation, movement, arsenal of weapons, and monsters are as delectable today as they were in 1997. And like the classics, this game is bloody difficult, but it's what made them good. It receives a play score of an 8.26.
An attack on this colony is imminent.
At number 4 is Overload. PC is a hotbed for all kinds of shooters. If there are battle royales like Apex and B shooters like Project Warlock and Blood, there's also 6 degrees of freedom shooters like this.
This is your final warning.
Dubbed as the spiritual successor of the popular 90s gem Descent, this brand new game feels like a revival of the age-old title. Genres like this is unlike most of the shooters that came out in the 90s. It's non-static, and it enables you to move in any direction while you battle a horde of machines in its endless hallways. It's like a breath of fresh air amidst PC's overbearing collection of first-person shooters. Game Reactor gave it an 8 out of 10, impressed by the developer Revival for sticking true to its inspirations, saying that it's done a decent job of marrying reverent design with a dash of much-needed modernity. It receives a play score of an 8.37.
This is a public service announcement. Return to your homes or face death. We're taking over this town.
At third place is Iron Fury. Speaking of spiritual successors, let's not forget about 2019's version of Duke Nukem. And as a bomb disposal expert, lead Shelly Bombshell Harrison in a quest to stop a sociopathic transhumanist cult leader.
My, how the tables have turned!
IGN gave the game a score of 7.5 out of 10, stating that it is an authentic throwback to Duke Nukem 3D that certainly hails to the king, but can't quite dethrone him. Although there's no denying the original is always better, what Iron Fury did was reintroducing this kind of genre to the modern audience. And if you're looking for an oddly specific title with pop culture references from Terminator, Tron, and Duke Nukem itself, this game is for you. It receives a play score of an 8.52. Second place is Metro Exodus. The latest of the Metro series continues to take you to the heart of post-apocalyptic Russia. And in this third installment to the first-person shooter survival game from Deep Silver, you are no longer limited to the confines of the underground metro.
As Artyom, you must flee the metro and lead a band of Spartan Rangers on an incredible, continent-spanning journey across post-apocalyptic Russia.
Travel around the irradiated Russia with your steam-powered train and find a new hope for the future of humanity. Our boy Artyom remains as the protagonist, and his quest to rebuild civilization is as difficult as ever. Games Radar's Austin Wood gave it a 4.5 out of 5, calling it as the best Metro game yet. And as an Epic exclusive, the game was lauded for its immersive atmosphere and detailed environments. And unlike the previous titles, this one is a huge leap to the semi-open world elements. This game receives a play score of an 8.58. And the best PC first-person shooter this 2018 to 2019 is Dusk. We go back once again to the age of 90s shooters. New Blood Interactive's retro FPS easily dethrones the rest of these titles. Dusk borrows elements from iconic contemporary 3D shooters and refines the age-old genre with their own style and form. It's set in a Lovecraftian world where you fend off an army of backwater cultists and demons, as you discover what lurks beneath the Earth's surface. PC Gamer praised the game's level design, stating that it is both an ode and evolution of the greatest era of FPS level design. They gave it an 8.9 out of 10. And not only does this game offer a fantastic single-player experience, its multiplayer mode is akin to Quake. Although it's not its best feature, it remains a fun addition for fans looking for some replay value. It's the ideal first-person shooter game on the PC right now that doesn't just pay homage to the retro FPS days. It stands on its own as a fantastic modern classic. It receives a play score of a 9.13.